This podcast is sponsored by nobody.
Hey dudes, this is Julia Montgomery, Betty Childs in Revenge of the Nerds, and you're listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past. I'm not kissing a nerd.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming the man, the myth, the legend, Glen Eaton. Glenn played the cocky, confident martial arts student Johnny Yu in the timeless Michael Schultz Berry Gordy cult classic The Last Dragon, celebrating its 40th anniversary. He will be my third guest from that movie, or fourth guest, actually, I should say, and I cannot wait. I am so excited, and it's going to be great having him on. He did a couple other movies, Penitentiary 3 and Train to Kill. And then he left the business for a while and came back. I'll find out what happened. And it's just going to be a great conversation. I can't wait. Also, rest in peace, Carl Crew, George from Blood Diner. Go listen to that interview we did on January 8th, 2021, episode number 1112. He was a funny, interesting, and controversial guy. Also, rest in peace, Lynn Stewart. I am beyond devastated. She is gone. She was a ray of sunshine to everyone who encountered her. I was so lucky to meet her at a Rinky Dink Comic Con in 2018 in Northern California, and I had her on Splat twice. Go on YouTube and listen to those two episodes, number 117 and 329. Her joy, her spirit, her positivity will live on forever. Love you, Miss Yvonne, the most beautiful woman in Puppet Land. I hope you're up there smiling with Pee Wee and Captain Carl, John B., and Shirley Feeney. She was close friends with Cindy Williams. So yeah, here is my interview with Glen Eaton. So, going back in time, long before The Last Dragon, did you gravitate toward acting early on in your childhood?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's I was always my brother and myself. We were always acting, always playing around and imitating actors on the movies and doing the scenes, and it was just the funnest thing to play. And so when I got old enough, like in the teens, to know that you got to get a profession,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, of course, acting. So I knew it at a young age what I wanted to do.
Yeah, so did you get involved in school plays and community theater and all that?
Yeah, yeah, I did some of that and found it's pretty nice. I enjoyed it, but the problem was even when I did the Last Dragon, I didn't know what the craft was,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
I was just getting up there, I'm just playing around and
yeah.
goofing off, and when I had to go on auditions after the Last Dragon, I was on my own. I I didn't I didn't know what acting was all about. I didn't have a clue, and so it was a struggle to try to get parts and try to do a good job. And so that's why I left the business because I just didn't know what I was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and just started working on my craft and working on myself, and that's where that started.
So did you attend college like after high school, or were you still in high school when you were in The Last Dragon?
No, no, I was out, and I was 23, so
Oh, okay.
uh, I was just going to a college at that time that I was no longer signed up in, but I knew the drama teacher was Pete Henderson, and he was the best drama teacher I had ever experienced, and it was free. And he liked me, so he said, Glenn, he said, he was a cool guy, man, like from the 60s. And he said, I know you're not signed up, but whenever you want to come to the acting class, where Monday and Wednesday, you can drop by anytime you want and do whatever you want. So I said, all right. So I would just go down there on the and practice, and um, he showed me through that experience that I wasn't ready, that I was stage fright, and he was very happy when I did The Last Dragon. So yeah, I guess he was very happy, but I knew, because no matter what you do, if you get a lucky break and you get something, that's nice. But I knew that I was no better of an actor than I was before.
Yeah.
I just got a lucky break, and so my desire was not to be a star, not to make a lot of money and all that stuff. My desire was to be good at what I do, whatever it is, and I wasn't good enough, so I had to backtrack and just start working on myself.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say, that you struggled and you had lack of experience, because I have to say you steal the movie. I mean, you're great in it. I
Thank
mean, do you think it was just the instinct, or just how well written the character was, or any of that?
No, it was just I used to, but thank you for the kind words.
Of
But
course.
I used to imitate people all the time. I'm a good impersonator,
Mm-hmm.
and I would Rod Serling, Kane from Kung Fu, anything. I was just
Yeah.
and so I love Bruce Lee the most. I was always imitating Bruce Lee, and so when the opportunity came, it was I would just slip into that mode. And also my friend at the time, he acted like Johnny Yu. He was more extroverted
Yeah.
and very expressive, and everybody liked him, and I thought he was wonderful, and so I just imitated him, you know,
Yeah.
and so it's still me, but I was imitating, because when he saw it, his sister saw it. I didn't say anything. She said, "He's imitating you." She knew.
Yeah.
So so I could have, done that. I could have pretended and tried to play that off for other roles, but I didn't want to be a fake. So I just said, let me try to get this thing. So that was just I impersonated my friend. Is probably what really helped me um, get through that role.
Yeah. To get you through it. Yeah. So, how did you come to be cast? Was it just a standard audition call?
Well, I'll be completely honest. I wouldn't be talking with you right now if it wasn't for my sister, because she was going out with Berry Gordy,
Wow.
and yeah, and she was living with him at the time, and they had a really good relationship. I didn't know who he was, and so she told me and said, "Yeah, come over for dinner and tell him your stories." So I go, "Oh, okay." So I told him my stories, where I would real stories, where I would almost get in a fight with some, three guys,
Mm-hmm.
but I pretend I was a martial artist, and it scared the hell out of
Yeah.
them. They backed down, man. So I'd tell him these stories, he'd be cracking up. And he's, oh man, he goes, that's great. He goes, it'd be great to have a character like that in the movie, where he can't fight, but he pretends, and he does good pretending. So I said, sure. So that's how that happened. He got me an audition,
Mm-hmm.
and I blew it. I did a terrible job. And so he said, after, he said, yeah, he goes, you did a bad job. He says, but you'll get a second chance. I got another audition. I go, okay. So I was pretty depressed for about a week. I was sick, depressed, and I thought I was a loser. Thought I was couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a week, my friend Brian every night, come on, let's go out. We'd go out every night and have fun, movies. And I stayed home. I said, no, for the whole week. I said, I'm sick. So finally, at the end of the week, I called him up. I said, screw this, man. Whether I get the part or not, we're going to have fun. So we went out. I had fun. I said, to hell with it. Got over the sickness. I had a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom, I had a moment with my mom that week. And it was a sad feeling with her. And I told her to give her some inspiration. I said, I know I blew that audition, but I'll tell you one thing. I said, I'm going to be on that plane next month and going to New York, and I'm going to get that part. And she said, well, if you don't get this part, don't feel too bad about it. You tried. And I said, no, I'm getting it. So I got it, but I just did it. I said that to try to make her feel better. But when I went to the audition next time, I completely was not nervous. I was just, the mind frame of if I get it, fine. If I don't, fine. But I'm not going to get sick over it. And because I just released all that junk of trying and trying, I just went in there, gave it my best, and got it. So
wow,
it was a process of failure, and then going out there and trying again.
Well, it sure paid off. I heard you say
Yeah.
in a previous interview that Johnny wasn't in the original script; he was added.
Yes, that's true. That's why Berry, when I was talking to him, he said that would be nice in the script. He already had the script, and he said that character would be kind of nice in there. So he's the one who wrote the character in the script, and they were just going to have me in the opening scene in the dojo.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they went on, Berry was adding me spread out through the film. He said, I got you spread out the middle, beginning, middle, and in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it better. And I go, oh, great. So he deserves all the credit, not me. I didn't do a damn thing. And when he told me to do something, only thing I'm credited for is I tried my best and did it. But other than that, for me, because I spent a lot of time with Barry.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the film was really nice. I enjoyed it. It was a wonderful experience. It's great to get a part.
Yeah.
And but New York was fantastic. Just
Mm-hmm.
going around being there, and then talking with Barry. He's very wise. He's a very wise, intelligent. He has experience about life and the business. So every time that he would talk to me, it would. I never had that before in my life. I never had any mentor, an older figure that knew about things that I'm going to need to know. And so I was so interested, and I thought, wow, I'm blessed being given this information. And so I carry whatever he influence that he had on me. I carry it to this day, and so none of it's gone to the wind. It's just that I didn't have a career after that. I did one movie after that, but after that, no. So it seems like, oh shit. But I'll tell you something. A career is not everything. And anybody who's listening, your dreams, your loves, that's the great thing. Keep it up, because that gets you up every morning. That gets you something to improve and grow and to work towards.
Right.
And to achieve. But the most important things is yourself, your health, your family, your friends. These things. And if you have pets, your dog, your cat, life right now is the most important thing. And so I would just say that don't put anybody aside or things aside, thinking that, oh, when I make it, it's going, it'll make up for all this. But It doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't. So if you abuse your animal, if you abuse your kid and all this whatever stuff, then that's far more important. Which I didn't, but I'm just saying anybody who does, it's far more important to dig into there and find out why you do that than it is to try to make it in life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, and then the rest of it's icing to the cake. But that's the love is the cake.
Absolutely. Did you and Tamak become buddies?
Um, Acquaintances. We're not buddies. No,
Hmm.
no. We're very different. We're very different. He's a very nice guy.
He
Very
is.
nice guy.
He is. I met him in 2018 at a horror con, and he was talking to somebody, and I asked his handler if they had a card swiper because sometimes they do at conventions. I was running out of cash, and for some reason, the handler told me that they didn't, and he was not very nice about it. So I walked away, and then Timac got up and he flagged me down. He said, "Hey man, I don't know why he said that to you, but I do have a card swiper. You want to come back to the table?" And I'm like, "Sure." And so I got the autograph and the picture. That was great.
Yeah, isn't that nice? Isn't
Yeah,
that nice? That shows the person's real character
yeah.
when I do things like that. So, yeah, he's a very nice guy. But it's just people are different, and you hang out with somebody not because you think they're a better human being
Hmm.
than another person. It's just you click. You guys enjoy the same things or whatever. But it's nothing personal. So we don't hang out like that. It's very different. But
Hmm.
we have respect for each other.
Yeah. What was Vanity like to work with?
Um, Vanity. It's uh, I wasn't really there. She was she she's more like a big star.
Hmm.
That's what reminded me, a big star coming on the set, already established and everything. So I just stay away.
Hmm.
I just stay away, and when we worked together, we never talked. It was just a matter of the only time we talked with each other was when we were shooting
Hmm.
what you saw on the screen. So it was just into the character. Boom. Okay, cut. That's it. So I don't working together. She's a professional and stuff, but I don't know her at all.
Yeah.
It was till after the film that uh, we I took a cab with her and we talked, and it was a nice talk, and that was it. So it was just a
Hmm.
business relationship, and um, again, into different things. I'm not into the. Uh, to me, she seemed very much into the nightclubs or the whole starlet or the whole thing. I don't know. I could be wrong. You know,
Hmm.
'cause I don't know her. But for me, uh, I'm pretty much a loner, and I just hang out with certain individuals. It could be, the guy I hung out with in the whole picture.
Who?
The guy I befriended with was the heavy set, blonde haired, heavy metal kid,
Okay.
Leo O'Brien's friend. Remember him
Oh yeah.
in the picture?
Yeah. Wow. That's.
Do you remember him?
I do remember him. I can't remember his name, but like I do remember him.
Yeah, he was his friend. So he was like, I think he was like 14 years old. I forgot. But he would crack me up.
Hmm.
He was always being funny. He was cracking me up. And so I hung out with him. We walked around New York and everything. Uh, so that's kind of funny. I don't pick. We don't pick a person. Hey, I'm going to hang out with this person.
Hmm.
You just if you click and you start they're cracking you up, and then you're talking, they're listening, and you come back with something, and you go, hey, it's pretty good. So I
It,
hung out with him for a little while, and he was really fun. And then And then I moved back here, and that was it.
The scene that you have with Faith Prince, I mean, she is so hilarious. You look like you want to just crack up in that scene. Was she like, making everybody crack up?
Yeah, she was. She was. The thing about Faith Prince for me was there were two people that impressed me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Two people, and that was Julius Carey the third, who played Shonoff, how good he was and what a professional, and Faith Prince, how good she was and a professional, a really good actress. So she, meaning that bubbly character she played, that's not her. She's just normal,
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, action. Oh, and she gets right into it,
Yeah.
Right in, it's right there. So I go, wow, look at that. I'm always impressed by when I see other actors in person and I can see them switch right into it and then get right out of it, out of it, and they're so good at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how she was. I'm like, yeah, she's pretty good.
I know Meryl Streep is like that. I mean, she could be having some locker room talk with somebody on set, and then when the camera's rolling, she can become that character and then go back to it, afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. That's all the great actors is Humphrey Bogart, Jack Nicholson. I can go on and on. All those great actors. They didn't get that in acting school.
No.
Or else they'd be pumping out great actors constantly. But it comes with the person. They just help them along the way,
Yeah.
But when you watch them, Humphrey Bogart's just sitting there talking about his tire got a flat this morning, and the goddamn thing, the garage was well closed, which they're never closed. And it's okay, you're ready to go. All right, we'll continue this. He gets right up there, and he starts his line. He starts doing his thing. Same guy. Same guy. It's not like he changes into Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
And but now he's just putting himself in these situations like you knew about that thing, but yet you didn't tell anybody because you knew you were guilty. So he'll start getting into it. But I find that Robert Mitchum.
Yeah.
All of them, man. Charles Bronson. Have you seen Charles Bronson on that interview in Dick Cavett show?
No, I should though.
Yeah, do you like Charles Bronson?
Love Charles Bronson, especially the Mechanic and Death Wish and Mr. Majestic and movies like that. The early
Exactly.
vehicles he had. Yeah.
Isn't he something? And I love the guy. Watch him on the interview. Same thing. Fucking same thing. They ask him a question. Well, first you have to ask him. We used to rail those. We had the carts. And what they do is when you get there, they make $1 for each person they get off the trains, right? So the guy, he took a shot. So he's talking. It's the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just found that, and that's why I told you. I said I don't want to go around trying to imitate somebody to get a role. I got to be myself.
Yeah.
And so that was like James Dean. It makes a big thing about James Dean with the cigarette, the hair, the jacket, the car. Hell with that. That was his thing. But the universal thing is James Dean was trying to be himself.
Right.
He was searching for himself. Those were roles that he got.
Right.
And he expected to get a lot more different roles in the future, but he died. But now he's encased with that image. But James Dean was just like you and me, just an individual, but he wanted to, as an actor, he didn't want to play different people. He wanted to be himself.
Right.
And it was like, it's easy to say, but when you get in front of a camera, you're reading other people's lines and it's all pretend. It's very difficult to trust yourself that you're good enough.
Right.
And a lot of actors who are good, they already know that. But I didn't. And So that was the thing, and it just sounds every time I say it, oh, be yourself, that sounds like a cliche,
Yeah.
and I don't really see anything behind it, because it's a lifelong journey, and everybody has their own. It's not like the same thing for everybody. So for myself, journey of finding out who I was, not the person I thought I was, because growing up you get influences.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody might say you're worthless, and that's hidden in there. So no matter how much Kirk Douglas or any of these guys make it successful, in the back of their mind is that person saying you're worthless.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go in there, and I go, no, I'm not worthless. So I would dig in there and find out all these things that I thought my character was from past experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, I'm not a bad guy. I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
I don't lie. I just tell the truth at times when I shouldn't tell them, because they'll think I'm lying. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
but if I don't go in there, then I'm going to think I'm a liar. I'm a this. I'm a jerk. I'm a that. And if you really dig in there, you'll find out, no, the reason why you didn't let that person have your 25 cents is because you needed that for
Right.
something.
I consider Michael Schultz to be a pioneer in cinema, and I was curious, like, what was he like as a director? Because I heard some people told me he was great to work with. Others say that he had high standards because he never left the theater. He like directed
Mm-hmm.
film like it was theater.
Yeah. Again, I can't really say, because I didn't work with him. I worked with Berry Gordy.
Okay.
Michael Schultz, he didn't work with me in
Okay.
the acting scene. And um, so it was just with Barry. So he seemed like a nice guy, but
Mm-hmm.
I never really, I never found out.
Okay. I've talked to Chris Burney and Kirk Taylor, both great guys. What were they like to work with?
Everybody was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was nice. It was me. It was me. Everybody's fine. Everybody was nice, doing their job, and I just, again, I like to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, I liked to be alone, man. And now it's different because I've matured more. But back then, it was like I just go to the room, or I go outside, or I go somewhere. But I'm not one to chat. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't one to just chat.
Yeah.
And which now I would have, because it would have been nice to get to know these people. But no, back then I was just like in my own little world.
Yeah. It's funny because you and Ernie Race Jr., you both take turns kicking Kirk in the face, and I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah, we that was fun. Uh, that's the kind of stuff that I was doing. I was used to it. So I was doing that play fighting, we called it, or
Yeah.
fake fighting, or play fighting. And remember that movie? It was a big hit, Billy Jack, when
Yeah.
it came out. Me, my brother, and my friends, we'd run to the theater. Run. If it was 10 miles, we'd run. And we'd see it, we'd come home, and we'd go to the park, and we'd start fake fighting like Billy Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd do that for like 2 hours. Kicking and punching. Nobody hits each other. It's all fake. But you get into it, and naturally I put the sound effects, so I get into it. I don't, so I go, when he punches me, I go, ooh, and then when I punch him, ooh, ah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when I did the movie, um, and they got the rushes on my scenes when I'm punching and kicking, my sister said, the dubber said, we thought, oh, they dubbed in Glen's punching. And then Grace said, my sister said, no, that's his mouth. He's doing it.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh shit!" Yeah, so I didn't realize, but I do it now. I just do it by habit. So all that. Um, I had so much fun growing up doing that stuff. So when I did the movie, it was just normal. It wasn't like something big for me. I was just hoping that I can get through with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this and the acting is difficult because I didn't know if I can get through that. But luckily, everything worked out.
This movie started a lot of careers. Mike Starr, Chaz Palminteri, William H. Macy. It's funny when you put the movie on, you kind of forget that they're in there, and then you see them, and you're like, oh shoot, this is like one of their earliest movies. you know?
Right.
Did you guys have like a premiere or a screening for the movie?
Yeah. Yeah. They had that in Westwood. Uh, yeah, it was one. The day before it came out. Which I mean, I'm sorry, but for me, when you want to talk about the screening or the actors and
Yeah.
what happened, I'll tell you, I'll be quite honest. Ain't nothing happened with me.
Yeah.
Because I had a few moments with them, but I just sit there. I'll just sit there, drink my Coca-Cola, get up,
Yeah.
wait. And I'm just I don't have stories to spin about how any kind of interesting stories, but um,
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah. What's that?
do you remember the reaction toward the movie? Because it's such. I mean, the movie holds up. It's such a well made, well written, quirky fantasy martial arts movie.
Right. The reaction, you mean, from the public?
Yeah, from the public.
Well, it's hard to say because the film. I went to the theater a few times, and they reacted nicely. Laughed and they always reacted good to the picture. But at the time, it's about timing too. Is At that time there was a lot of giant movies. There was a lot of sequels, Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Rockies, um, and there were a lot of other pictures that were hitting the public interest. And so I think Last Dragon just got lost in the shuffle with all these other pictures that
Mm-hmm.
were stealing and they're more in the mainstream at that time. Last Dragon was a kind of a different idea, you know,
Yeah.
and so I'm not too sure if people when they saw the poster knew what they were going to go into. They'd rather go into like Dreamscape or something with
Dennis Quaid.
Christopher Walken. What's that?
Dennis Quaid.
Oh,
You're thinking
yeah,
of
Christopher. I'm
Brainstorm.
sorry.
Brainstorm is Christopher
Yes,
Walken.
right. Christopher Walken raised and Dreamscape with Dennis Quaid, and those kind of pictures were like entertaining for people, and they go see those.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just bombarded with just so many other pictures that were stealing the spotlight.
Mm-hmm. So then after that, you did Penitentiary 3 and Train to Kill. Any things stand out about those?
Let me see. Penitentiary and Train to Kill. Yeah, I'll just say again. I keep saying this, but it's the truth. Is uh, Train to Kill. My performance, as far as my performance in the picture, it's not really a performance for me. It's just uh, I just got a part, and I was happy about that. But
Mm-hmm.
I could have just really went with it now. I was working with Chuck Connors.
Henry
I was
Silva.
working, yeah, Henry Silva, and the lady who played my mother. I grew up watching her on TV. So I had these actors, but I didn't know my craft, so I just stuck to the script. But now it's just like the opportunity. I would have, like, Chuck Connors comes in the first night I arrive. And he says, how you doing, Sam? You know, wants to make sure everything's good. Glad to
Yeah.
have you with us. And I just say a couple of lines, and that's it. But for me, I just go up to him, hug him, you know, and I talk to him like, you know, I haven't seen this is my father. So many opportunities. And my mom, I would have talked with her had scenes with her, and she even asked me, the actress, she said, we're getting killed off. And I go, you know, and she said, do you think there's any way I can get more? It'd be nice to have some more scenes. And I said, that'd be great, but it didn't happen. I didn't even push for it, but I would now. So it was the experience of the Train to Kill was I kept my mouth shut, just followed the script, and worked with these actors that they passed on, but it would have been a great opportunity. And yeah, so that's all. Just what could have been. Train to Kill. Instead, I was more like a robot. You know?
Yeah. So what did you do when you left the business for a while?
Yeah, I left and raised a son, and then I left and I lived alone, and I just worked on alone at home on finding myself, and there's a whole journey there. So that was, and then I came back and I did a bunch of. This was a few years ago. I did student films, and short films, and a couple of plays. So I went on that route. I did Shakespeare touring for a while. So I did some things, met some people, and became friends. But still, I felt like a robot.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like Bruce Lee said, man. Bruce Lee said in the interview, here's a guy who can kick anybody's ass pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked very hard at it. And then at 31 years old, he's telling you the most difficult thing to do is to be yourself.
Yeah.
It's easy to learn a move from other people and then show off. Learn a few things, fancy and fast and this and that. But like Bruce Lee said, are you expressing yourself? Is that how you feel? Or are you just imitating an form? Same thing with acting.
Yeah.
So,
Did you get recognized all the time for The Last Dragon when you were taking a break?
no.
No.
I got recognized here and
Mm-hmm.
but not all the time, but here and there. I got recognized a lot when it came out.
Yeah.
You know, it's fresh, but now no. And just sometimes somebody will say something, but no, not too much.
Interesting. So you've come back. You've been in short films and so forth. Do you have anything like upcoming?
Upcoming right now, no.
No.
No, I just got here. I was in San Miguel, Mexico for a few years,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in a comedy play, uh, a comedy team, and we did some stuff and some shows. Then I moved up here about 3 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've just been, getting to know this place and getting back into training and stuff. So, um, and right now, as Hollywood is going through a real reboot.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah. First with the strike and then the fires. Oh my God. It's nuts. Is what it is.
Well, even before the strike, you got. I mean, I remember a few years back how much money was being lost in movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it used to be. So they were already failing tremendously in the box office and pumping out the same kind of thing. Marvel, 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 Marvel. You get a few other
Yeah.
pictures, but they were flopping. And then all of a sudden, you get the strike, and you get the fire and everything, and everything that's going, the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so it's just looks like Hollywood has been beaten to the ground, you know?
God, I know it's scary. It's scary to think about.
I know, but it's not Hollywood I'm concerned about. The business I'm concerned. It's the people. I hope the people are doing okay. And I lived there for 30 years, and I hope they're doing all right. But the whole world, this country and
Hmm.
the whole world is going through a kind of a reboot. It's going through some process, and that's not from my info. That's coming from a lot of different resources that you can get on YouTube and this and that. And I just check out all these different ones and put them together. And I'm thinking, they all can't be wrong, man. But and you can see the proof how things are breaking down. Uh, there needs to be change,
Yeah.
and I think this is my take on it.
Hmm.
Is if Hollywood is going to play a part in this new world that's coming in,
Hmm.
then Hollywood had better not be making violent, sexist, ridiculous, degrading pictures for money, because they're not going to make it. They better accommodate the new audience, which is they better start making pictures that are entertaining, inspiring, and that parents can bring their children and not feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I see.
And if they can't do that, they're finished, as far as I'm concerned. But
Mhm.
if they can, then Hollywood can play a very important part in this new world, because that is the radio station. Entertainment is the radio station that everybody would like to tune into, because everybody wants to be entertained.
Right.
Uh, but it better be good, or else it's not going to be allowed. I don't think people aren't going to buy that stuff anymore.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I see the stuff that's on Netflix and Hulu and all the streaming networks. All that stuff that you described is on there,
Yeah,
and it seems like family stuff and Marvel stuff and biopics are the only things being released in the theaters now.
right, right. I mean, it's just you look at the movies in the past from the '70s before that, or '80s and before that, and you just see a vast variety of different types of pictures, and not all of them were good.
No.
Some were lousy, but some were good and some were really good. But you had a market out there where you go, hey, you want to see this one,
Hmm.
Dreamscape, or you want to go see that comedy with Dudley Moore, or do you want to go see the Harrison Ford picture? You want to go see? I can go on and on.
Oh yeah.
And Rutger Howard. I mean, so you had such a variety of stories and
I couldn't tell you
every
half.
yeah.
I couldn't tell you half the young actors nowadays. I mean, I mean, there's the old guys like you just said. Tom Hanks and so forth, who are still acting. But like the
uh,
young guys, I couldn't tell you any of their names.
Me either. Not to say I couldn't tell you a name to save my life. I'd be stumped, And I'm not cutting them down. We're not cutting them down.
No, no,
This is not a matter of that. Entertainment is not a matter of, let me say the film was good so that I can support them. Or
right.
let me say it was bad because I don't like that person. If I like a picture, I'll say the picture is good. I don't care about if I like them or not. So we're just being on. Entertainment is like one of the only things in the world you can be honest. Did you like
Exactly.
the movie? No. Yes. But uh, when have you ever hated a movie and then afterwards you talked to somebody who liked it and they gave you this whole reason why it's such a great movie, and then you went to see it and you went, wow, yeah, they're right, it is a great movie. I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah, I
you
can't
know
recall.
you can see, oh, I get why you liked it.
Hmm.
I see why you liked it, but I still can't stand it. So it's one of the only things that, for Christ's sakes, that we can be honest. And actors were telling me, let's all support each other's work. I was like, well, let me see it first.
Yeah.
Because now they, if you, lying is an actor's business, but in their life, when they talk, you don't want them to lie. And you don't want them to say, oh, it was great working with that person. If they don't like, then I didn't care for it. Like Robert Mitchum, they'd ask him questions. What do you think of the movie? He wouldn't say, oh, it's wonderful working with this director and then the actress, and we're having a great time. He would just say, it's all right.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Mitchum. You just be honest. It's all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want him to come up with this whole paragraph of how wonderful it is, and then they ask him another question. How's it working with Sophia Loren or whatever,
Jane Russell. Yeah.
And then they keep asking him the question. God damn, I can't get nothing out of the guy.
Yeah.
But he's being honest.
Yeah.
So it's and as an actor, I don't want to be lying about what I think about certain entertainment, because it's nothing personal.
Right.
But if I didn't like somebody, I just wouldn't say anything.
Right.
I didn't have anything good to say. But when it comes to work, if somebody said, Glenn, I like your work, I hope to God they're honest.
Yeah.
And then they're not going, I can't stand his work. But you know what? It's good to support each other.
Yeah.
I'd hate that. I want them to say it sucked. And I go, why? They're bum, 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 bum. Oh, I get it. So then I can learn and not make that mistake again.
Do you ever do the Comic Cons?
Oh, I did that a couple times, yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it?
No. No, I didn't like it. No, man. It's not for me.
Yeah.
No, I'm just not a good seller, man. The kids would come up to me and want to take a picture, and I can charge them $10.
Yeah.
Right? But I can't. I didn't have it in me to say that. I couldn't say that. Just for me to stand there,
Yeah.
I'm going to charge a kid $10. I says, go ahead, Oh, this guy came up. I don't have any money left, but do you think I could go ahead? It's hard for me to do that. Hard for me to try to sell a shirt or an autograph or somebody might say, oh, you should be proud or you're self-confident in yourself, but I am. But that's just to do that kind of thing, to try over there and sell pictures of myself and autographs. And it's hard for me to ask for money.
I know. I've met a lot of people over the years who don't do the cons because of that reason.
Yeah, I don't. If they gave me a fee, if they said, "Here's $300, go down there and do and whatever," okay, I got some money. But if it's just, oh, you can make more than that if you do this and you do that, no, that's all right. Money's fine, money's nice, but I'll tell you, I'd rather entertain them than give them my name on a piece of paper. You know what I mean?
Of course.
that don't mean much. Just a name, but it's so I'm working on that. I'll see what happens.
What's the craziest thing anyone's ever asked you to sign?
Oh, the bravest? No, it's nothing. It was just a piece of paper. I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
That would be pretty brave.
Actually, I said craziest. I said craziest.
Imagine that back in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
If a lady said, hey, can you sign my breast, right? I'm sure Arnold will sign the breast, right?
Right.
Can you imagine now? If somebody did that, can you sign my breast? And you signed it, they go to the police, and they say, he touched me, and I got his name.
Yeah.
That's his signature.
That'd be a great joke.
that wouldn't work. But it was much more open back in the 70s. You didn't get all this junk.
Yeah.
About people, girls walking by and somebody goes, they're like, all right, As long as they're not rude and they start saying, hey, Dave, you need to come over here, right? They whistle, beautiful. But I think girls got tired because a lot of guys probably would just harass them because they wouldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
Something. So after a while, it's like the whistle sounded like a demand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it used to be a little bit more simple back then, but now people have. All it takes is one bad apple to spoil a whole bunch. You know what I mean?
Always,
So now,
always.
yeah. So I can understand why a lot of people, a lot of women are touchy about that stuff because
Mm-hmm.
how it's portrayed and how certain people abuse their freedom and are not very nice to women. And so it's sad because then you get a nice person and they're trying to talk to a woman. The woman treats them like shit, and the man's like, "Are all women like this? I'm just trying to be nice," you know. So
Yeah.
you get this complete miscommunication on both sides. And if they talked, she can tell him, "No, I had this lousy experience with a guy 4 years ago." Oh, I get it now, right? But instead, we don't communicate. So everybody's
Mm.
left with their own devices in their imagination to think why they were rejected or why that person was an asshole.
Yeah.
And so you just get a society that's not united. They're all separate, looking at
Yeah.
with their guard up. And it's not like the '70s, Hey, how you doing? Good. What's up? Well, sure.
Mm.
Nowadays, you don't know if that's gonna be a killer,
Yeah.
right? So I can understand everybody must be careful, but at the same time, doesn't mean we have to be rude to each other, right?
Exactly.
So it's a fine line that I think the society's working on. That's why Hollywood, like I said, is going to have to help in the human behavior area of trying to restore and heal some of the damage it has caused. That all the negative movies have made an impact on children, and now a lot have grown up. There's and the teenagers and there are adults, and they've been affected by these, and we don't know because they don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you talk about it, the most strongest girl walking by, who's God, she's got the world on her shoulder.
Yeah.
If you talk to her, she might tell you she sleeps with the light on because she's afraid of the dark with all these movies and monsters and killers
Mm-hmm.
coming out in the dark. So she sleeps with the light on because of the influence of these pictures. So we don't see, just like Marlon Brando talked about, this is, oh, the Indians again.
Yeah.
We don't see, we're not an Indian kid watching a little show that, oh, right, they're going to watch a show and they got their cereal. And all of a sudden on the show, they see an Indian, which that's his culture and he knows it, being
Mm-hmm.
portrayed as some savage, right?
Yeah.
And he's sitting there and he can't enjoy the show now because he thinks he's the enemy. And all these people he loves on the show would want nothing better than to string him up.
Yeah.
See? So people weren't taking into account what he was talking about. He's talking about, look, but the damage that these kids don't talk about it in the public, so you don't know. But they grow up feeling like a less citizen, like a savage, and they know they're not.
Right.
So that's what I was talking about, the damage. A lot of the pictures I've seen in the past, some of the scenes I can't get rid of in my memory to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever it comes up, I'm like, you know. So I have to accept it, that it's in there in my memory. I just got to go, okay. And I'll be blunt about it, is how a lot of those pictures in the '70s, you just, boom, here comes a woman getting raped and killed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not advertised, right?
Right.
It was a drama or something. Now I got that memory in my freaking mind, you
Well,
know. So, damage, man. I can't imagine the damage. Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all these so popcorn innocent violent pictures
yeah.
has damaged a lot of people.
Real quick, you mentioned before about the comedy team thing you were doing. Like what got you into that? Was it like improv?
No, we worked on scenes. I'd write some scenes, they'd write some scenes or a whole idea, kind of like Saturday Night Live is what
Okay.
it was. We do a
Sketches.
bunch of skits. Yeah, so that was fun. I did Clark Gable sketch, and I did this other sketch. So I could do anything I want because I just write it down and play it out. So that was fun. And we did that at the Don, I forgot, Don Lupe's, yeah, Don Lupe's in San Miguel. It was a nice little place.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun to work with these people. It was three ladies, and we would talk for like an hour every time we got together to rehearse at my place. We'd talk about the world, what's been going on with us, and so then we'd work on it, on the scenes, and it was a nice personal, like getting together with friends, and then being able to direct some of the stuff, which was really fun for me. But then that fell through, and we stopped, and I came down here. But that was all of it's a nice experience, and always showing me things that I need to get to improve. Not to gloat on, not to go, all right, I did this, and people said this about my performance. Mine's more, I would film it, and so I could see it later on, and see where I need to work on. And I'd see a lot of areas I need to work on, so I go, okay, and I take that with me. So it's all a learning experience.
Oh yeah, everyday life is a learning experience. Do you think
Yeah.
do you think you'll ever do something like that again?
Oh, definitely. I already am getting ready, but I'm just not talking about it. I'm not talking about the future because I don't know what the future holds. But I'll just tell you where I'm at now. Is I'm just preparing. That's what I do every day. I just relax. I enjoy myself, and I do my preparation exercises and stuff. And so, what did Shakespeare say? He says, basically, it's not yesterday, it's not tomorrow. What if it's yesterday? If it's or wait, no, he says, if it's today, if it's tomorrow, whatever opportunities. The only important thing is in the readiness, and that means, are you doing what you have to do to be ready? Not, is it going to happen? So that's my thing. And in the past, like 20 years ago, when I said that, my family and stuff would go, all right, they'd give me the thumbs up.
Yeah.
But at this time, and I tell them that, they're like, yeah, but when? You've been saying that over and over. And but I tell them, I says, every opportunity that came my way, I jumped at it. It's not like I said, no, I'm not ready. I jumped at it.
Yeah.
And so while I'm waiting in between opportunities, what am I going to do? Suck my thumb? No, I'm going to prepare. So, and if I never make it, it never happens, that's fine. As long as I enjoyed myself preparing.
Yeah. Well,
Because I'll tell you. Go ahead.
Oh, we live in this era now of content creation. I always say, if you're not creating, you're waiting.
Right. Right. And that's a great point because we're not only talking about, outer artwork creation or career.
Yeah.
We're talking about what are you thinking, which your thoughts are going to create your life, right?
Yeah.
What are you creating in your feeling? How are you feeling? We're always looking at the outer results. Okay, what'd you get now? What's coming from what I've been manifesting? Well, they say, well, how do you feel? I feel better. You're ignoring the first sign, man. The first time you go, you know what? I'm going to do it. And you start feeling better. Things are happening in my life, although they're not.
Yeah.
I've got everything I want, although outwardly you don't. But you're feeling it. All of a sudden, you're feeling better. And it's in that better feeling that draws it to you. But the thing is to keep it up. And that's very difficult. And that was difficult for me because I'd always be sidetracked and get upset or be sad. And now I got rid of that stuff. I'm alone, so now I could really clear my mind and stuff. And it's been like day after day. It's been a joy for me because although I'm saddened by a lot of things in the past, it's a healthy sadness, because it's not sad because I hurt people. It's sad because who I am now, I would have treated my mother better back then if I was who I am now. See?
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of sadness. But you can't do anything about it.
Right.
But so it's great not to have anything to distract me from feeling good and thinking the thoughts I want to think. And I was just allowing everybody and their mother to distract me. You know?
Yeah.
And to the simple thing, you're just watching TV and you're in a good mood. And an ad comes on, a stupid ad comes on. You're like, oh, shit, you damn that. All of a sudden, it threw me off my mood. Like, I got to stop that. Just thank God that we have skip ad, you know. So I look at the positive side.
That is so awesome. Glenn, this has been a tremendous honor. Thank you so much for coming on today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yes, and I'm glad that you're still out there doing what you do, and I hope you continue to do so, and I will keep my eye out, and you have yourself a great rest of your day, and be safe out there.
Well, thank you. And you do the same.
Thank you,
do the
sir.
same. So all right. You have a great night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Glen Eaton. Ain't he a cool dude? Oh my God, what a nice, insightful, thoughtful guy. I really thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. Just how he was going on about life and everything that he's overcome and he's triumphed. I mean, that was an inspiring conversation we had, and I hope you all enjoyed it. What a fantastic guy. And I hope he eventually goes back to the cons, because I'd love to meet him in person. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.